Morning, everyone. Just waiting for a few more people to turn up. Okay, let's get started. So hello and welcome to the second session of the BRC and Translation Manchester Innovator Training Scheme. Today we welcome our colleagues from the Masood Entrepreneurship Centre, Fatemeh, Salihe and Laura Etchells, and they will be leading this session, getting you thinking about how to develop an entrepreneurial mindset. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Colette. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. So as Colette mentioned, we are going to talk about developing an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm Fatemeh Salihe. I'm a lecturer in enterprise at Masood Entrepreneurship Centre. We are based at Alliance Manchester Business School. I do research and teaching and mentoring in the area of entrepreneurship and innovation management. And today we will actually run this session together with my colleague Laura. Laura, would you please introduce yourself?
Thanks, Fatemeh. Good morning, everybody. I'm the Enterprise Business Development Manager at the Masood Entrepreneurship Centre. A little bit of background about me. I have a PhD in bioorganic chemistry, and during my years as a postdoctoral researcher, I also became a Chief Operating Officer for an academic-led consultancy firm. And so, as you can imagine, this really opened the door for me to business incubation and commercialisation. And I've now got over 10 years experience in project management, business development, technology transfer, all within a university setting. And so you'll hear more from me later about the support that's available to you from the Masood Entrepreneurship Centre. And in the meantime, back over to you, Fatemeh.
Thanks, Laura. So yes, I'm going to talk about developing an entrepreneurial mindset in our session today, and Laura will explain the entrepreneurial support programs that we have at MEC, Masood Entrepreneurship Centre, and then we will meet the entrepreneur. Dr. Beenish Siddique will join us. Beenish is the founder and chief executive officer of NIHR Innovative Hydrogel Limited. She has a PhD in materials from the University of Manchester and has won several prestigious awards for her innovative work, including £1 million funding from Innovate UK. And Beenish will join us later today, and she will actually go through her story of setting up her own business and will share her story with us. And at the end, we will have some time for Q&A, answering your questions, me, Laura, and Beenish. Okay, let's start. So I really like this sentence. You are how you think, which means you are the sum of your thoughts. So your very being is tied to what and how you think. And success starts in mind. So our mindsets influences our decisions and ultimately the direction of our life. So beliefs lead to actions. So our mindset will create obstacles or opportunities. It can help us see barriers or possibilities, and also can cause fear or courage. So the focus within this session is primarily on the actions that you can take to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset. And the aim is to actually help you prepare to make the shift from thinking like an employee to thinking like an entrepreneur. So we will see what an entrepreneurial mindset is and how we can cultivate one. But to understand what an entrepreneurial mindset is, it's good to dig into the meaning of these two words separately and then put them together. So we start by examining the definition of mindset, which serves as our foundation. And then we move on to what it means to be entrepreneurial. So what is a mindset? In this slide, you see two definitions of mindset. A simple one would be a mental attitude or inclination. And also we can define mindset as a sum of our knowledge, including beliefs and thoughts about the world and ourselves in that world. So it's the filter that we use for information that we get in and put out. But is a mindset a fixed thing, or can it be changed? Of course it can change. Mindsets can change. Our thinking can be rewired to change what we believe. And much of this occurs through developing a greater awareness of our current mindset, and also taking steps to purposely start thinking and reacting in new ways. So our mindsets can be shaped by an intentional awareness about our current mindsets, and also about it can be shaped by our experiences and what we are exposed to externally. And mindsets evolve through an interactive process. So we're talking about a process here. So it's not simply a one and done effort. Rather, it must be reinforced and practiced. So in this sense, a mindset is a habit that requires practice. So have this in mind. A mindset is a habit that requires practice, and then we will come back to it. Now, what does it mean to be entrepreneurial? The most widely accepted definition of entrepreneurship today is discovering, evaluating, and exploiting opportunities. So first we discover opportunities, and then we evaluate them and exploit them. And these entrepreneurial opportunities can be found in various settings. So it is not limited to the opportunities found for creation of a new company. It can be in different settings. We will take a look at that later. And the important thing here when we discover and evaluate and exploit opportunities is that we would like to create value. And also, because these opportunities are newly discovered, there is a level of uncertainty surrounding that very early on. Let me share 5 key insights with you about being entrepreneurial. The first one is that are you an entrepreneur is the wrong question. Rather, it should be how entrepreneurial are you? So it's not dichotomous. And we can vary, individuals can vary as to the extent to which they exhibit these behaviors. The second key insight is that being entrepreneurial is relevant to more than just startups. So yes, you can be entrepreneurial and start up your business, but that's just one way to be entrepreneurial. You can be entrepreneurial within an existing organization, within university, within a large company. So in many different contexts, being entrepreneurial is possible. The third key insight is that there are many types and sizes of entrepreneurship opportunities. So innovation and discovering these opportunities can involve any new combination of knowledge and resources, etc. So we can have a small opportunity or a large one. We can have incremental innovation or radical innovation. So there are many, many different types of entrepreneurship opportunities. The next key insight is that being entrepreneurial requires the creation of value. And this value can come in many different forms. You can create economic value. For example, you can create new sources of revenue for an existing company, or you can find ways to do things more cost effectively, so create economic value. You can also create social value by improving the quality of life of people, or you can create environmental value. So there are different forms of value creation when we are entrepreneurial. And the fifth key insight that I would like to share with you is that being entrepreneurial involves embracing uncertainty. So entrepreneurial opportunities are by definition new and because of that, they involve high level of uncertainty. So this uncertainty could be related to feasibility. For example, you are not sure if you can find a way to build a solution. This uncertainty can also relate to desirability of, for example, your solution to a problem. So you might not be sure if your customers, your audience will like your product, will desire your new process, your new way of doing things. So you're not sure how they will react. So there is uncertainty in that regard as well. And also there is uncertainty related to the viability of a novel idea. So whether the solution is viable from a business case or not is another uncertainty. But this uncertainty requires continuous experimentation, learning, and adapting. And perseverance is key in this situation. So perseverance is key in shifting from a state of assumption to knowledge. So this is what we also see in the research domain when we do research, which you might be very familiar with. So we need to embrace uncertainty and learn to adapt accordingly if you want to be entrepreneurial. Now let's put these two different definitions together. So being entrepreneurial and a definition of the mindset to have a definition of the entrepreneurial mindset. So we can define entrepreneurial mindset as the inclination to discover, evaluate, and exploit opportunities. A more detailed definition would be the ability to quickly sense opportunities, take action. So it's about getting our hands dirty and get organized under uncertain conditions. And this also includes the ability to persevere, accept, and learn from failure, and get comfortable with a certain level of discomfort. Now, if we want to develop our entrepreneurial mindset, we need to develop a suite of practical skills. In this slide, I would like to share 8 very important skills that we need to develop to have an entrepreneurial mindset. So if you remember, the mindset was about habits. So this is actually related to the skills and habits that we need to have to think and act in an entrepreneurial way. So the first skill is opportunity recognition. This is very, very important, and it is about seeing and experiencing problems as opportunities to create solutions. So this is basically how we look at and how we experience problems, and do we see them as opportunities to create new solutions. The second important skills for developing an entrepreneurial mindset is being comfortable with risk. So this is about the capacity to move forward with a decision despite inevitable uncertainty and challenges. But please pay attention that this is not just about taking any kind of uncalculated risk. This is about taking calculated risks. So that is about entrepreneurship. That is entrepreneurial. So not just doing something without enough thinking, without enough calculations beforehand. The third skill is about creativity and innovation. As you can imagine, this has a great strong link with being entrepreneurial. So this is about being able to think of ideas and create solutions to problems without clearly defined structures. So there is a vague situation or vague problem, and we need to have this ability to think of new ideas and novel ways and come up with new solutions to problems. So creativity and innovation is key in this area. The other, let's say, critical skill that we need to have and develop our entrepreneurial mindset is our ability to communicate and collaborate well. So this is about expressing our ideas to our intended audience very well and very clearly. So being able to communicate well is very, very important. Also, we need to be able to persuade others to work towards a common goal. So this is very, very important, communication and collaboration. The other important practical skill is flexibility and adaptability. So this is about the ability and willingness to change actions and plans to overcome present and future challenges. So if the situations, for example, inside the company change, or the environment outside the company, we will see some changes. We need to have the ability and willingness to change accordingly. Another important practical skill is being able to take initiatives and have self-reliance. So this is about taking ownership of a project without input or guidance and work through the obstacles independently. So this is mainly about self-leadership, let's say. This is what you may have experienced before in research projects. That's the same skill actually, which applies in the context of entrepreneurship. So you need to be able to take ownership of the project, take initiatives, and be self-reliant. Future orientation, having a future orientation is also very, very important. This is about being responsible and being goal-oriented, and also it's about forward thinking, basically. It's about being able to prioritize long-term success in the face of short-term sacrifice or short-term effort. So having a future orientation is also very important. And finally, critical thinking and problem solving. So as researchers, we are very familiar with this. So we need to have the capacity to apply higher level process-oriented thinking and be able to consider an issue from a range of different possible perspectives and use that reasoning to make decisions. So as you can see here in this slide, we need a suite of practical skills to develop our entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, now that we know what an entrepreneurial mindset is and what skills are involved, let's do an exercise together. For this exercise, you need a pen and paper. So please have your pen and paper ready. Now, I would like you to consider 3 different career paths for this exercise. The first career path is about being a researcher entrepreneur, which means that you would like to start up your own company, have a startup business based on the research that you have been doing at university or based on a novel idea that you have. So being a researcher entrepreneur. And you would like to develop your entrepreneurial mindset to enhance chances of success of your future startup company. And you would like to learn more about societal and economic value creation and capture. The second career path is being champion of innovation. This is about being actually a leader of new product or a new service or new process development initiatives in an existing organization. So within the industry, within a medium size or within a large organization, you would like to lead new development programs, and you would like to increase research-based innovation in an existing organization, say, for example, in NHS. So this is the being champion of innovation, the second career path. The third one is about being a translational researcher. So you would like to be a researcher in academia or in any other research organizations, and you would like to be very successful at knowledge mobilization, and you would like to increase meaningful and impactful research in academia. So consider these 3 different career paths that you may pursue in future, or you might be thinking about now. And then my question to you is that, how can developing an entrepreneurial mindset help you achieve personal fulfillment and organizational effectiveness? So we are we would like to see two things: your personal fulfillment, what really makes you happy, and organizational effectiveness. So you have a high positive impact in your organization. So there are two other sub questions for this. So I would like you to think about the skills that you need from the slide that we have just seen about the suite of practical skills. So what skills do you think you need to achieve your goals, and how those skills can help you achieve your goals? To better frame your answer, I suggest you draw a 3x3 table, as you can see in this slide, and have the 3 career paths as the columns of this table. So being researcher entrepreneur, being a champion of innovation in industry or in other organizations, and being a translational researcher in academia. And for the roles, you consider different skills that you think you may need. For example, 3 skills among those 8 that I just explained. For example, you may say that I need to develop my opportunity recognition skill further. I need to be more comfortable with risk, and I need to work on my self-reliance and taking initiative. So think about these 3 skills that you may need, and then think about the link between these skills and your chosen career path. So how this can really help you achieve your goals. And you can think about just one career path, you can think about 2 of them, or if you have time, you can think about all 3. Now, what I would like you to do is to think about this for 1 or 2 minutes individually, and then in the breakout rooms, share your ideas with your with other people within the breakout room. And when we come back after the breakout room, we will ask you to share your ideas with all the participants in the workshop today. Okay, so what we need to do, I just go through the question again very quickly. The question is about actually first considering these skills. So opportunity recognition, being comfortable with risk, creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration, flexibility, self-reliance, future orientation, critical thinking and problem solving. So these are the skills. Then we need to consider 3 different career paths: setting up your own company, being champion of innovation in an existing organization, and being a translational researcher in academia. And then the question is, how can developing an entrepreneurial mindset help you achieve both personal fulfillment and organizational effectiveness? So to do that, we will take a look at the skills that you may need, and then we'll see how these skills, how developing these skills will help you achieve your goals in any of these career paths that you would like to choose. Okay, if the actually task is clear and you don't have any questions, let's move on to the breakout rooms. You will have about 10 minutes to complete this activity, and we'll come back to the main room then. Okay.
So I've just created the breakout rooms now, so everyone should have a an invite on their screen to join.
Hello, everyone.
Jane.
Hi.
Oh, oh, there's more people, sorry.
How are you? Hi, Joanne. Hi, Alex. Hi, Armenia.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Hello. Oh, it's nice to see people. So I'm not sure if you got the email yesterday, but you do have the skills if you need to check those. I'll paste the breakout exercise in the chat just in case as well, if you need to refer to it. So do you want to do it individually first of all? Oh, actually, let me just. Could you just let me know if this comes through okay in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So do you want to do it individually for like 5 minutes and then we could discuss it briefly, if that's okay?
Sounds good.
Do you know what you're doing?
I just wonder, because for me it would just be one of the career paths.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, just to reiterate, it can be any of the three. You can choose whether it applies to you or not. But yeah, go with it and see what skills you need, and then we can discuss it briefly in about 4 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, see you in a minute. How's everyone getting on? Do you want to join back again? Sorry if you've not finished already, but I just thought it'd be quite good to have a minute each to maybe share your thoughts on your exercise. Does everyone want to join back again? Okay, who wants to go first? How did you get on with the exercise first of all, and kind of which category did you see yourself in, and what skills do you think you might need?
So I can go first just to
Yeah.
start everybody off. So just by the virtue of my role, I would see myself as a champion within the organization.
Yeah.
I'm not a researcher myself, and I work at the NHS at MFT. So I think for the organizational success, just thinking about specifically about the organization that I'm in, I think is tackling risk aversion might be needed systemically. opportunity recognition. So again, just having systems in place so that the process is sped up for reviews, and also communication and collaboration. So making sure that all the stakeholders in the ecosystem within Manchester are really working smoothly together, and so that there's no duplication. And I think it was interestingly, and that with the organizational success and personal fulfillment, interestingly, I think two of them were the same. So again, opportunity recognition and communication and collaboration, I think would be important for me, because I guess that gives you a satisfaction to be able to recognize opportunities and be able to make those connections by working with other people. And then flexibility and adaptability. But for me, sort of personally, I think that would be good to.
That's great. Thanks, Ola. Juan or Aminia or Alex, do you want to go next?
Maybe
Aminia?
I can.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Sure. Oh, okay. I already been doing research in university, so I would say already I'm fitted in sort of working or championing innovation in an organization. I have paid a lot of attention to see if I could sort of have opportunity. Oh, there's a noise here.
Just turn that sound off, Aminia, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So I've been watching opportunities, say if anyhow I could take some time off to do like either spin-off or anything. And I found one or two opportunities, but it hasn't really forced me or make you realize I have to start that. And partly is in recognized opportunity, you have to find funding and so on. And then a further risk, because funding usually only for a year and two. And then you have to have a plan B. So after that, what happens and so on, you know. So, but anyway, so opportunity recognition and also plan into future, see the market, risk balancing with what you have for the time being and what else in 18 to 24 months. And collaboration, communication are very, very important with parties involved. And say in 18 months, where we're standing and so on, you know. So I found that this is quite useful to get you thinking in the whole pot.
And do this exercise after, you know, do it another time, you know, after this session. So hopefully it helps again. Alex, do you want to go? Really briefly, and just what does someone want the feedback in the broader session as well, in the wider session? Okay, Alex, sorry, go on quickly.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, I'm a first year PhD student. So I think the career path for me would be the champion of innovation. So leading innovation within a company, and the skills I need to have more practice on and develop a bit further is comfort with risk, and ability to future orientation as well. So just trying to navigate your path, and also opportunity recognition. So it's quite hard to know what's a good opportunity, what's bad when it presents, and also just nurturing these opportunities and making them happen more frequently as well.
Definitely, yeah. Aminia, sorry, it's time to now. We might. Oh, let's stay in here. Do you want to quickly?
Yeah, I'm a postdoc, and I mean I'm oriented towards translation. As far as I'm concerned, I think for me it will be important to be better in communication, because if you communicate better, you have more collaboration, and this is automatically linked to opportunity recognition, because if you are not in connection with other people, you are not aware of what's going on, and so you won't recognize opportunities. So this is essential, and then I also need to take more initiative. And keep focused on the future orientation, because if you lose which is your final goal, you can get easily lost.
Yeah, that kind of joins me on to, do you think there's enough support around this, training, support, advice?
Sorry?
Do you think there's enough support available, like through the university, through the NHS, in terms of, you know, entrepreneur skills?
well, I mean, from university, I think so. I'm always keeping an eye on the courses. So yeah, I think it's pretty okay.
Yeah.
At least for me at this stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know who you need to go to as well? Would everyone know kind of where to go for support?
Personally, I mean, on StaffNet, there is a list of courses.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. It was very nice to hear your ideas about the career path that you are in, and the ones that you would like to pursue in future, and the set of skills that you're thinking about. May I please ask, we need 3 volunteers now to give us feedback about the discussion that we had actually. So may I please ask one of you that is thinking about, or they are already in the route of researcher entrepreneur, setting up a new business, a startup business, to share their ideas with us?
I'm not a research entrepreneur, but I could try and comment on the other sections, if that helps. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Okay, so my name is Dr. Janet Dean. I'm an allied health professional in Manchester Foundation Trust, and also an NIHR clinical lecturer. Until today, I didn't realise that I actually have entrepreneurial skills and that I actually use them every day. So that's quite interesting. I always thought that an entrepreneur meant that you were running some sort of startup, and that's quite empowering for me as I kind of think about my future career. I guess where I feel that I lie is in terms of a translational researcher primarily, and that's where my future career lies. But with the probably leading new product innovations with time as I gain more confidence in the area. So I find that probably where I'm very good at opportunity recognition, and I'm quite a collaborative person, and I do try to reach out. But obviously I've joined the University of Manchester during a global pandemic, so collaborating has been a challenge. So it's great to be on this course for that reason. Perhaps 2 of the areas I find most challenging is risk. So in terms of risk, I am quite good at taking calculated risk, and that's okay, but it's that risk in terms of my ideas and my innovation, you know, taking that leap to be creative, to think outside the box. I think sometimes creativity can be inhibited by structure and by ethics. You know, obviously we abide by ethics and we abide by certain rules, but in terms of that can also affect the way we think creatively. We think maybe, oh, I shouldn't do that, or, you know, and who would have a problem with that? And, you know, and that sort of sometimes curtails me. So I think I need to develop my creativity a little bit more. And then just in terms of self-reliance, I'm a really self-reliant person. And I think all of us probably could say that to get to a certain level in research. But what I find quite a challenge is the loneliness of that sometimes. So I can, you know, develop new ideas and all of that, but it's finding your community is the challenge for me at the moment. So that's it, really.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Anna. That was a very nice analysis of different skills and the ones that you already have and have developed and the ones that you would like to develop further. That's really interesting to see. And that's interesting to see that in having comfort with risk is actually a big issue for a lot of people actually when they want to be more entrepreneurial. And I have actually a message from Jane in the chat box that in their group, comfort with risk was also a big one. So part of the risk that we have, actually, the uncertainty that we have when we want to be more entrepreneurial is related to our knowledge of the domain in which we are working on, our knowledge of the environment, that's the micro environment, our community, and also the wider macro environment in which we are operating. And there are lots of factors that we don't have that much of an control on or that much impact on. So that's one of the things that we really need to focus on when we want to pursue a novel idea. We need to have a very, very good knowledge and say an analysis of the environment, and we should see it at different levels, macro, micro, the internal one, and see what are the main forces, what are the main trends out there, and how they can impact us, how we can impact those forces, and then see how we can really decrease the uncertainties and then decrease the level of risk that we have.
I think in some sense it's about finding your tribe. Like there's some people around whom I am so creative because there's something that ignites in that relationship. And then there's some where I feel they're saying, oh, you can't do that because of this, or that won't work because, and then that kind of, again, it's good to know the reality, but it's good also to have that creative tribe, if you like, community.
Exactly. That's very, very important. Great. Thank you very much, Janet. And we will see actually in our next session, we will see some support that we have at MEG to help you develop these skills further and let's say be more comfortable with risk and also develop some other skills further. Thank you very much, Janet, for sharing your idea with us. So do we have any other volunteer who is happy to share their thoughts with us?
If I can make a comment, I mean, I fit probably better in the researcher entrepreneur category, and yeah, I just want to follow up on the idea of you know, dealing with risk. I think, you know, the environment that we are used to in the research environment at the university. Mm-hmm. Dealing with risk is very limited. You risk, you know, maybe the hypothesis that you put forward turns out to be wrong, and you have to rephrase this. The experiments do not support your ideas, and so on and so forth. So that is a very limited risk, and you can develop, you know, skills to feel certain comfort with this and control. In my case, looking forward in terms of spinning out a company, I think the risk becomes a bit more real, mm-hmm. Thinking about potential investors, and I will have to be responsible for those investments and responsible in front of the investors if they expect to have a revenue. So that's another thing. I mean, that to me is another level, a level of risk for which we have no training in the academic environment. So it's very difficult to jump, isn't it, at this level? And I think that is probably one of the main barriers that discourages academics to go into a more commercial or exploitation avenue, I think, in my opinion. So I don't know if anyone has any comments on this.
Very good point. Very good point, Lydia. Yeah, I would like to invite actually Laura as well, if you'd like to make any comments, or any other participants to make comments on what Lydia just shared with us.
Thanks, Lydia. Yes, it's interesting. I think it's that's something that comes up quite frequently in terms of barriers for academics to take their ideas forward. And we work alongside academics, researchers, students and recent graduates, as well as the Innovation Factory, the technology transfer team within the university, to help to explore the wider opportunities for exploitation of ideas coming from research. But it's also, I think, where we sit quite nicely is about the entrepreneurial learning and the skills development. And one of the key aspects of that is to not only to be aware of what the market opportunity is, but to sit alongside that is to build your confidence, to believe that you've got the ability to take that forward and lead that discussion with individuals and in the outside world.
Just a really quick one on that, just from like a coaching perspective, as Laura was saying, the forward-thinking approach. So think about your goal. Is it an issue? Is it a concern? And what are your options around that? And how do you take that forward? Who do you need to speak to? What do you need to do next? Really kind of think about each step, how you can achieve it, who do you need to ask for support from, but very much what is the goal and what are the options?
And I'll just add to that as well, Lydia. I think if it's something that you're feeling like is a challenge for you, it's always good to try and look for some visible role models. So we can probably introduce you to some people, and I know there's a presentation later today, people who've been through this experience, who've made that leap from being a researcher to an entrepreneur, and they've set up a company. There are quite a few spin-out companies from the University of Manchester, and there's probably some colleagues at the same level as you that you could link with that could perhaps mentor you and provide you with some inspiration. So to stay in touch.
Yeah, I think that sits quite nicely in terms of some of the discussion points that we were in our breakout group. We were only a small group, but it tended to focus around how you build networks and how you actually get to have conversations with individuals. And it's not just a set piece of, oh, I build a network by doing A and B and it gets me to that outcome. There's a whole host of different activities that individuals are encouraged to get involved with, but primarily being aware of those examples of other entrepreneurs that you can actually engage with and understand their journeys, but also building out your own awareness of the key networks that you need to be part of.
All right, I think, thank you very much. I think it will be very useful, to be part or be put in contact with potential mentors, because that's a new road. Also in our group we discussed, because the rest of the group were more on the translational researcher stream, and we found that obviously opportunity recognition is a key skill that needs to be developed and grow into it. Initiative and self-reliance, probably less of a risk in that sense, but we also thought that importantly, and that's not in that table, communication and collaboration is a skill that will make a big difference going forward in any translational initiative.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much, Lydia. Any other ideas you would like to share? All right, thank you very much. Now let me share my screen with you again and kind of wrap up the discussion that we just had with listing 5 main characteristics of the entrepreneurial mindset, which is in common with habitual entrepreneurs. And thank you very much, everybody, for all your great ideas and great discussions. So these 5 characteristics actually are here in this slide. So the habitual entrepreneurs and also those with a very good entrepreneurial mindset, they passionately seek new opportunities. They also pursue opportunities with enormous discipline. They pursue only the very best opportunities and avoid exhausting themselves and their organizations by chasing after every option. So evaluation of opportunities and chasing the ones that have the most potential is also very important. They focus on execution. specifically adaptive execution. So getting our hands dirty, but at the same time being flexible and adaptable. And finally, they engage the energies of everyone in their domain. We just talked about the importance of networking and being able to engage our communities with what we do and what we would like to offer. Very good. So I would like to finish my session by this quote from Siddique Chen, who is an entrepreneur and CEO of Hey Incorporation. He says, life is short, do stuff that matters. And this is about, I like it because it's about having a greater positive impact in what we are already doing. As we could see, we can be entrepreneurial in many different contexts. And by developing our entrepreneurial mindset, we can increase our positive impact in whichever context that we are at. Thank you very much. Laura, over to you. Laura now will explain the support programs that we have at MEC, Manchester Entrepreneurship Centre. And yes, please, Laura.
Thanks, Fatemeh. And thanks everybody for participating in that breakout session. Really interesting to hear some of the feedback. And I'm sure you're all thinking about your own entrepreneurial mindsets now. You know, it's clear that we know that innovation is on the agenda for all organisations, and being able to demonstrate having an entrepreneurial mindset really helps to set you apart from others, regardless of the direction that you want to take, whether that's enhancing your own careers through the roles that you're in at the moment, or considering moving into setting up your own business, or as we've gone through some of those skill sets, thinking about some of those skills that you'd look to develop. Now, I believe that we've got quite a mixed audience today from across the trusts, the universities, and some externals from some businesses. So if you're considering a commercial application coming from your research, then as we've touched on briefly, colleagues within the trust and the university's technology transfer company, Innovation Factory, can help. And some might be on the session today joining us, but equally we're able to connect you. And I believe the next workshop in this series is focusing on identifying IP and when and why to protect. So as mentioned earlier, I'm the Enterprise Business Development Manager for the Masood Entrepreneurship Centre at the University of Manchester. And when I think about entrepreneurship, obviously we've mentioned a few keywords already through Fatemeh's session, but for me it really conjures up being driven, very focused and self-directed, being able to follow a plan or route, building networks, decision-making, but also having the strength to adapt and change direction when you need to. But clearly a key element is also about being able to recognise an opportunity and to understand the market for that opportunity. And later on, after me, we'll hear firsthand from Dr. Beenish Siddique, a former postdoctoral researcher that's gone on to start her own biotech company, and she'll be here to share her entrepreneurial journey with you. And alongside spotting an opportunity, it's also about entrepreneurial learning. And my role within the Masood Entrepreneurship Centre is to actively champion entrepreneurship, support skills development, and the creation of university startup businesses. So who are we? Well, MEC are the focal point for enterprise and entrepreneurship at the University of Manchester for students, staff, and recent graduates. And our mission is to make entrepreneurship for all. And we do this through an agile blend of on-curricular and co-curricular activities. Our on-curricular teaching delivers 26 core and elective taught units for undergrad and postgrad levels in all faculties. And it really is about engaging and inspiring students and early career researchers to develop enterprise and entrepreneurial skills such as opportunity spotting, problem solving, vision, business strategy, and as in today's session, an entrepreneurial mindset, and really building your confidence to feel as though you can make things happen. And our co-curricular activities include a huge range of touch points for all entrepreneurs, from early stage idea discovery phase right through to startup creation and acceleration. And this includes activities such as awareness raising through an active events programme, including our Entrepreneurs at Manchester prominent speaker keynote series, Startup Spotlight, and that's engaging with early stage founders. So you can really get to a feel for how they've been able to actually step out there and start developing their businesses. And we also have things like thematic hackathons, following designed sprint methodology with entrepreneurially minded individuals working on under time pressures to solve a problem. So it's almost getting them all into one space over a weekend and see if they can hash out their ideas. A great way of engaging as well is through our ideas competitions, annual business plan competitions such as Venture Further, and our Ellie and Brit Harari Graphene Enterprise Award, just to give you an example there. So in terms of opportunities for staff, we have early stage funding to test your ideas. We have internal programs for early career researchers, and again, it's following that same theme of encouraging entrepreneurship and engaging people with gaining experience and learning new skills, exploring new venture creation, and really having the confidence to do this, particularly in a supportive environment such as the university. But we also lead in supporting our entrepreneurs to engage in national and international startup programs, such as the Lean Launch program for researchers at the very start of their commercialization journey, iCure for researchers through our partnership with North by Northwest, and that's for researchers that need to further validate their ideas. And Aspect is a national network for social science innovators looking to commercialise their research. And through these partnerships, we've helped over 150 teams develop their ideas across these programmes. So a bit more detail about some of the internal programmes. The Flying Starter opportunity, for example, is now in its second year, and this gives staff access to funding of up to £2,000 to test the viability of a business idea. This is open on a monthly rolling basis, and last year we awarded over £20,000 to staff across the campus. And not only do you get access to some cash to actually start testing the viability and understand where the market opportunity might be, have some key conversations, we also give access to networks, and we mentor you with your ideas. We have workshops to help you to build those skills. And for anybody that's interested, then do by all means get in touch through entrepreneurship@manchester.ac.uk. Our Researcher to Innovator programme is open to early career researchers, and that takes place across the year. And this programme, a bit further on than the Flying Starter opportunity, it introduces you to the concept of commercialisation and the importance of customer discovery. So it's more about having some more of those key conversations, less about actually selling your potential product, but really understanding if you're able to harness the need, where's the issue that you're looking to solve. And this type of programme also gives you the tools and strategies to take your ideas forward. The next programme in this series is due to begin late June and runs across 2 consecutive days. So as well as access to funding and programmes, our general startup support includes ideas surgeries, mentoring, startup clinics. An advisor network gives you access to entrepreneurial alumni and professional service providers to advise on business startups. And we also host drop-in sessions and a range of workshops throughout the year, covering topics such as finance, IP, PR, market research, etc. And alongside this, we also signpost to external programmes and competitions, and we have an online resource centre. And when we are back on campus, we've also got access to hot desking space within our enterprise zone. So whether you've got an idea you want to consider developing into a startup business, or you're just curious, and I think that's one of the words that perhaps hasn't come out today so far, but if you're curious about enterprise and you want to learn new skills, giving you the opportunity to perhaps dip a toe in the water, then come and engage with us here at the Masood Entrepreneurship Centre. And the take-home message from this section, if you've got an interest in enterprise and entrepreneurship, want to have a chat about an idea or participate in support sessions, then do get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. That was great. Now, I would like to invite Beenish to join us and actually to share her story with us. As I actually mentioned in the beginning of our session, Beenish has been a researcher, and then she developed her own startup. So, Beenish,
can you hear me?
Oh yes, I can hear you. Yes. Hi, Beenish.
Hi everyone.
Hello. Great. It's great to have you here, Beenish. So we have been talking about developing an entrepreneurial mindset and the support that we have at MEC related to entrepreneurship programs. So it's lovely to see a real, actually, entrepreneur, to meet the entrepreneur and hear your story, actually, of going through this entrepreneurial mindset development and setting up a new business. So over to you, and yeah, please.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for the invitation, and hello everyone. So what I will do first, I will just share my screen because I have I won't say really whenever you like about my journey. So if you just give me a second. Yes. So can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes. Hi everyone. I'm Dr. Beenish Siddique. So firstly, I will just give a brief overview about myself, basically. So originally, I'm from Pakistan, Kashmir, from Kashmir side. So after finishing my college, I came to UK to do my undergrad degree from Aston University. So after finishing my undergrad degree, I decided to work in an industry. So it was I worked in industry for around like 1.5 years, and the company known as Hydrogel Healthcare Limited. So it's a small company based in Birmingham. So from that company, basically, I have learned how we can basically develop product based on our research and how to commercialize it. And after 1.5 years, I decided to do my PhD. So I applied for my PhD position in different universities. I got offer from different places, but I decided to go with University of Manchester. And the reason was, like, obviously, one, it is for research. It's especially from material science. So it is one of the world largest university, and it's really has good reputation for research. So I went over there. I did my PhD. So I managed to submit my thesis like within 2 years and 10 months after starting my PhD. But at that time, because my idea was like I will stay in Manchester just to do my PhD, and then I will come back to Birmingham because my whole family is like based in Birmingham. So when I was doing my PhD, I got a postdoc offer. The thing is that when I was a PhD student, like when we used to sit together, the idea was like we know only two paths. One was like industrial path, like either you will go to industry, and either the other option was like academia. And definitely when we used to sit together, the mindset we have was like, if you are intelligent, then you will go to academia, and if you are less intelligent, then you will go to industry. Like it was just the stereotypes in our time, like I used to think. So it's not a like I finished my PhD basically in 2018 and 2019, but all of us, like international, we were like lots of international students over there and local as well, but most of us have this mindset. So ultimately, I decided to do my postdoc, take postdoc position at University of Birmingham. It wasn't something from my heart. I wanted to do it. It was just like a feeling. I need to prove like I'm an intelligent person. So I just went over there. But after 3 months, like after starting my postdoc position, um, I found out like academic research is not for me. So there are like number of reasons for that. Number one was like I find quite hard to do research, like industrial type of research, because I had an experience like in industry, and I knew like if you want to launch some product, then it needs to be really like cost effective, really differentiated from the current like market product. But unfortunately, it's not with all of them. So it's not with every postdoc, but I noticed your hands were quite restricted. You need to do research in certain way. So after 3 months, I mean, I wanted to quit, but obviously and then I have to stay over there for 1 year because my contract was for 1 year, and it doesn't seem good to just leave after 3 months. But on that time, I decided like, okay, there is like, I need to explore other option as well beside academia and traditional industry. So then I decided to, after like, I was a still PhD student when, I mean, after finishing like, although, I mean, I submitted my thesis like in September, I think it was October 2017 or something like that. But the thing is that obviously there are lots of bureaucratic factor. I didn't get really major correction, but it takes time to get approval for my thesis and everything. So it's like it took me around 1.5 years to get like my thesis approved. But on that time, I mean, when I finished like my postdoc in October 2018, I decided to start a company. At that time, I was also diagnosed with certain health issue, like physical health issue. So I was on treatment, so I have to stay at home for at least like 3 months. And then but at that time I was quite clear, like I wanted to have a startup company. I want to develop a product that will have commercial value. But for me, the real challenge was like to find lab space, and the hurdle I got was like I tried to contact lab. I have this brilliant idea. Obviously, I was a kind of person, and most of us, we think like our ideas are really brilliant. So then, but out of like 15 or 20 academics, like only one of them responded. And then he tried to help me, but there are like obviously lots of bureaucratic factors, like he won't be able to help me. So for me, then the real challenge was like, if I want to have some product and if I want to go to investors, then I should have at least like minimum viable product or prototype. Then the issue was like, as I was not receiving any response from academic, and then I wasn't aware like we can rent a lab space, because here in Birmingham I find it was quite expensive. So for me, then I decided like, why not like firstly just try to seek like seed funding based on just an idea. So then what I did, I applied for, I don't know if lots of you are aware of this competition. So it's Imagine If competition. It's all around the world. This competition is run by like different cities. Birmingham there was none, but in Manchester there was this company. So I applied for it. I convinced two of my friends, Jessica and Siddique, because I was like, if you apply for this competition, one of the criteria was like you need to have like other team members. So I told them like, look, I want to apply for this competition. Could you want to join this? So I was really fortunate. So they were like, we trust your idea and we know like you will be successful. I had doubt, but they were, you will make it. So I applied for this competition. I went to pitch over there. And then what happens when I went over there, my legs were shivering. So because I was like, I wasn't feeling really confident, but I just like presented. And then they asked me number of questions. And then on technical side, I was fine. But then when they asked for on business side, literally lots of questions. When they asked me, they were like just, I was like, what they are asking, because lots of business terms, they were new for me. So I won't be able to answer them. And I was literally like, felt like why I am in this, like why I'm presenting. Probably I'm not a person who can like go have a business, because I don't know anything about like business terms and everything. So when I came back from Manchester, so it was around 9 p.m. So I was in train, and I was literally kind of crying, and I was like, I don't want to do like business. But when I went back home, then I reflect on like, it's just a small thing. Like obviously I presented, it's a learning phase, so I need to more focus on it. And the good thing with happened with this competition was like, I was assigned to mentor. So basically those mentor, when I told them this happened, like I didn't win the competition and I wasn't got like shortlisted. So then they told me like, it's just like, when we first time we talked, like we start mentoring you, you were different, and now you have improved a lot. So if you just focus, we will keep mentoring you, although I mean now you're not part of this competition. So they helped me to refine, especially Valentina secretary. So she helped me to refine the business idea. And then I was like, okay, it's a one failure, it doesn't matter, like I need to apply for other competition. So on that time, basically what happened, there was a venture further competition, and luckily I managed to convince my previous company boss, like if I can have a lab space. So initially he was reluctant, and then he said like, okay, if you just like, you can have like, you can use lab, and then just for like few hours. So I went over there, I prepared like hydrogel sheet dressing, because I knew like, okay, how these things works. And then I applied for this competition, and I worked like number of like, I will say literally around like 16 to 17 hours just to study about business, how to refine business like proposition, and then how to make like financial model and everything. So then like after spending like lots of time, I submitted my entry to venture further. And then I got like I was fine, I was quite excited. And to be honest with you, I was like, literally, I didn't believe on myself, like I won that competition. But after, so this competition basically helped me to provide like funding for seed funding to have lab space. So I got like 12K of, and then I used that money to rent a lab space in Manchester Science Park. It was just a one bench, but I got like enough funding to buy chemicals, and then use like shared equipment in biospace and formulation. And at that time I realized like this hydrogel formulation also have application in agriculture. So then I applied for Ali and Harari Graphene Enterprise Award, and fortunately I was runner up for that competition, and I won like 20K. And then on the same like month, I applied for Shell Live Wire competition, like fourth time on that month. So 3 times for this competition I was runner up, but 4th time I was the winner. So I got another 5K. So now, I mean, I was the situation like I had like 37K. So obviously that money was not enough to give myself a salary, but it was enough like to go like to, because I was living in Birmingham, and then I was commuting every day, but that money was enough to run like for at least like for 3 to 4 months. And the other thing, good thing happened because of this competition was like support from Masood Enterprise Centre, and from like after winning, after getting, I was runner up for and Harari Graphene Enterprise Award. I got lab space in Graphene Engineering Innovation Centre. say I was building up like my company from that point. And then for me, I mean, Laura, if she knows, like whenever I was going for other competition, even she used to help me with pitch practicing and everything. So it's really like good. It was really good experience. So I received a lot of help from them. And then I decided to apply for Innovate UK grants. So first time when I applied for it, my application wasn't successful. But what happened, they gave me feedback. Innovate UK gave me feedback. And then based on that feedback, I got like, I improved my application, and then I was awarded like our 1 million Innovate UK grant in September 2020. We started the project, and now this project is still running. So just to let you know here, I mean, when I was applying for a grant, the other hurdle for me was like, because I was 1% company, so I used to go to different companies for collaboration. I was like, I want to partner with you guys. I want to write up Innovate UK grant. And the look on their face was literally, I still remember one person from one company, he was like, this idea is rubbish. And he was like, I don't want to listen about. So we arranged a meeting, and he was like, I don't want to hear about anything. So this idea will not work. And for me, it was quite like, I felt really like insulted, but then I was like, okay, but that motivated me, to be honest with you. So for me, it was a motivation. Okay, if they are saying this idea is not good enough, so I need to go with this. And then I talked with like around 50 companies. So at the end, I managed. And then because why I was approaching different companies, because the award we were applying for Innovate UK, we should have like consortium. And unfortunate thing is like, if because I didn't have any academic background, like and I didn't have any support from my PhD supervisor or postdoc supervisor, because to be honest with you, none of them was believing in me, or I don't know, but it's just like, these are the things, I mean, the problem I have faced. But then I went like, when I got shortlisted, so there was an interview from Innovate UK. And then on that interview, basically, even when I got shortlisted, most of people, they were like, okay, you got shortlisted, but you won't win it. But in my heart, I was like, there is a chance, because I'm doing so much hard work, so it will pay off. So then when there was like around 17 people in a panel, like from academic, from industry, and from different fields. And then at the end, they decided to give me like Innovate UK grant. And one of the comment that has been made was like, they are seeing me as a UK female tech entrepreneur. So that was such one of the brightest like tech entrepreneurs. So for me, that comments made me like motivated me to do more hard work. And then I founded this company. Then after winning that Innovate UK grant, we expanded our team. So now we are around like 11 people in our company. We are recruiting for more people. And I also secured like seed investment in the process, around 200K. And now I have like received like a million basically inductive offer for our company. So this is something we are, and this is our team. So it's just like, we are highly experienced now, deeply invested team, because after winning Innovate UK grant, lots of people have also approached us about our product. Now, firstly, we are based in Geek, but now we are moving from there because we are expanding. So we will have like many small manufacturing facility. We will also install world first vertical farm based on hydrogel technology. So we got like now a number of partners who are working with like, who are in our team. So what we are basically, what my company is like main product. So for me, I mean, I will just quickly go through because I need to be mindful about time as well. So probably lots of people, you hear like term sustainability. So most people, things like food production, especially when we go with agriculture, it's quite sustainable, but actually it's not. So 9.9% of 2018 greenhouse gas emission was from agriculture, and this is from traditional agriculture. And then the other scenario is greenhouse, like when we, for example, when we bring like products from Spain to Manchester, obviously it has a larger carbon footprint than if it's shipped from Manchester to Manchester. So our company vision is like to produce locally and sell locally, so that we can reduce carbon footprint. The way we will achieve, we will use like our hydrogel substrate. And then the other thing, I mean, we need to bear in mind, because 70% of fresh water used in agriculture got wasted, and by 2030, half of the world population will be living in water stressed area. So our biological fields, lots of people are already aware of hydrogel, but it's just like to simply give you terms. So it's a substrate or material that have like 70 or 90%, sometimes like less than 70, so 60 to 90% of water in its structure, and rest is like polymer structure, other things. So for example, we have developed hydrogel that has if it's 1 gram, it can absorb 600 gram of water in its structure. So this is like the way we are using in indoor farming. Indoor farming is it has application in both indoor and outdoor farming. In indoor farming, basically you use like substrate instead of soil. So these substrate that are already in market, they are really like, they are not sustainable, and one of them is most likely to be banned in 2023. So our product will replace like these new product. So any company, if you have an idea, you need to make sure that there is a market opportunity, because sometimes in academia or like in even industry, we try to develop things that doesn't have any market like opportunity. So you need to make sure that if you want to have a startup company, if you have a like idea, you need to make sure it like gap. So you can do it like obviously doing market survey, and then even taking help from literature. So key message for all of anyone who is interested in like to have a like startup company. So just like 3-4 things I have learned. So failure, rejections. So for me, I mean, failure is just one key. So just to let you know, obviously there was a time when I was based in Manchester, MIB, Manchester Institute of Technology. So there are certain things happen. When I used to pass by from that building, I used to feel so like less confident, and I used to feel like, oh my gosh, I failed here, like in MIB, because I didn't publish paper. I had issues with my PhD supervisor, and then so these are the things, I mean, and then I faced lots of rejection, because it's unfortunate things. If you are a new person, you have no support from any other like academics or something, then you are like, you have to face lots of rejection. But don't take those rejection, because on your like if you want to achieve something, rejections will come, but don't take them seriously, just learn from them. And then do hard work and have faith on you. So I just need to let, because as a postdoc and PhD, when I was a student, then we used to think that like, okay, if we are doing anything against like certain things, then we won't receive any support. But this is not the case with me. Just to give you an example, like when I won this award, my people like try to claim that this is their idea, but I have received lots of support from university. So it's not like something you will receive like good support, like have a faith in university as well. So I mean, lots of us, like when we were student, we used to think like the university work in a way like it only support people who are in higher hierarchy, but this is not the case for me. I mean, at least I didn't observe that thing. And then just be kind with other people, because sometimes academia is such a competitive place. So when someone think like this person is better or like not better than me, then people will create lots of hurdle. But don't try to be like that. If you will be kind, success will come. So that is, and learn from people like experience thing I have said. So it is like entrepreneurship, if someone want to say, it's just like it's not easy journey, but it's really rewarding journey. So I commute every day still from Birmingham to Manchester, because Manchester is a place where I receive lots of support. And outside the London, I mean, this is one of the best city where you can have a startup company, and you will receive lots of support from University of Manchester in terms of seed funding, in terms of like developing your business ideas. And the last thing, which is like, so this is, I mean, something, don't think like there are only two paths. There are like 3 paths. I mean, after finishing PhD, one is obviously postdoc position and then trying to secure like tenure lectureship. Second is like industrial route, and third one is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is quite rewarding in terms like, if obviously if you achieve, like if you manage to achieve like something, or if you then it's just like, one, you are making some changes, like real change to the world. And most of us are materialistic, including myself. I won't say like I'm not materialistic. So it's just like a really rewarding. So at the end, you have a really good chance to become a millionaire. So if you are interested, like, so this is something, and I will recommend, like, if you are interested to go like entrepreneurship, it's really rewarding journey. So there are hurdles, but they are like, it's a less like, at the end reward is great. So now we are AIH Innovative Hydrogel, and our vision is to become Apple of Agritech, and we'll achieve this. So, thanks.
Thank you so much, Beenish. What an incredible story. That was great. Thank you very much. And we can see all the chat, all the messages that we have in the chat box. That was really, really great. Thank you very much for sharing your inspiring story with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Brilliant. So we are happy to answer any questions. If you have questions for Beenish, for Laura and myself, please feel free to unmute and ask your questions, or just type in the chat box.
I've got a quick question for Beenish, if you've got time. That's absolutely amazing story, so inspiring. I think a lot of researchers find that leap from being a researcher to becoming a startup quite difficult. And you talked about some of the challenges that you've overcome in doing that. And I think one of them is like understanding your market and the market opportunity, and that's perhaps something we don't learn about in our traditional careers. How did you overcome that?
Yes, so for me, I mean, the way I overcome this was like, one, I mean, I will say I had one advantage, because before starting my PhD, I worked in industry. So I knew, like, when we are designing product, like what research we need to do, what research we need to identify, like market gaps and everything. But if someone is really like new, they don't know about anything, so it's just fine. There are lots of like innovation programs. So you should apply like for those innovation programs. So for example, one is run at a Dolly Park. So there is like, and then University of Manchester like venture further. So once you have like the idea, then you can go like explore it. And I think one really good program for, if you are especially working in academia, if you are a student, or I can't exactly remember the name, but you get like 25K to explore the market like gap. So university support you need to submit application for that. Obviously I didn't go with it because I wasn't a PhD like student when I started this journey. Probably I will send you a link, or probably Laura's also now about that. So it's just like you receive like 25K, and then the reason, I mean, you get that funding is just to explore, like to go to customers and then explore the gaps. So this is the way.
Yeah, I think that's probably Beenish is referring to iCure, which we touched on briefly during my slides, but yeah, we can send a link across for that as well.
Fantastic. I think, has anyone got any more questions for Fatemeh or Laura or Beenish while we've got them here? Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions for, oh, Jeanette, did you have a question?
I was just going to ask a quick question, Beenish. I just have to commend your persistence and your resilience. You're amazing. Just to say, one of the things I've noticed, you made that jump, you transitioned between Manchester and Birmingham. There was commutes, possibly family life, all of these other commitments that surround you as a person when you're a scientist and researcher. How did work-life balance ever come into it? How did you meet those challenges?
Yes, so for me, I mean, to be honest with you, I never find really difficult because my family is really supportive. So for example, there are some days I work from 6 a.m. Till like 6 p.m. So sometimes, I mean, I catch my train at 6:30 and I come back to Birmingham at 7:30. So it's just like really supportive network. So nobody says like why you are like going, why you are not spending time on cooking or like doing like that thing. So it's more like your family members like supporting structure. So for me, that was the one reason I managed to balance it. And then I don't want to be like, probably in 1 or 2 years time when I will have kids, then it will be slightly different, because at the moment I don't have kids. Like, so that is one of the major reason I will say, like, I have no pressure, like family pressure, like it's just like, it's really supportive at the moment.
Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. I think we've reached the end of our time today. So I'd just like to thank absolutely everyone for turning up. I think we've got a great scheme here, and I think if you all come along and persist, we've got great speakers like Fatemeh and Laura coming every time. Beenish, you are an inspiration to all of us. I hope your talk, and I'm sure it has inspired some of the people on the call today to reach out to Laura and Fatemeh and attend some of those more intense training courses to try and inspire you to explore entrepreneurship yourself. Just before we leave the session, I'd just like to remind you that the next session is on the 18th of May, and that's around identifying IP, when and why to protect, and it will be facilitated by the team at Manchester Innovation Factory. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a lovely week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.